Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial. In this video I'm going to show you how you can create a marquee selection like this one. By dragging and dropping with your mouse you're gonna draw different kind of rectangle or square, and then you can select the units below this. This video will be focused only on how to create this marquee selection type. So without further ado, let's start. If you enjoyed any of the videos on this channel and if you're a fan, could you do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button? Surprisingly, 85% of the people who watched my videos are unsubscribed. Your quick action of hitting that subscribe button will support this channel, and as it grows, we will be able to share even more free content with you. Okay, so to create the marquee selection, first we need to create a few things. The first thing that we need to create is a new game mode. So I'm gonna right click, go to the blueprint class and select game mode based. This game mode, I'm gonna call it test game mode, okay, just for the testing purposes. Then here in the game mode override, I'm just gonna drag and drop my test game mode. So this is the first step to create a test game mode. The second one is we need to create an interface. This interface will be used in different classes to call different events. Interfaces are an important part of Unreal Engine 5 because interfaces can be used in various different blueprints. So I'm gonna right click and search for blueprint interface, and this blueprint interface, I'm gonna call it selection interface. All right. And in this interface, we will create two functions, stop selection and start selection. We are using interfaces because I want to be able to call those functions everywhere in my project. The first one will be start selection and the second function will be stop selection. Those are the two functions that I'm going to call through the interface. I'm gonna compile and save. After that, I need to create a player controller. So I'm gonna right click, go to blueprints and select player controller. This player controller will be selection player controller, and I'm gonna drag and drop it under my player controller class over here. Now I'm gonna double click on my player controller and let's go to the event graph. We need to make few things over here. The first thing is by pressing the left mouse button, we need to start selection, and by releasing it, we need to stop the selection. So by pressing the left mouse button, we're going to start drawing the marquee, and by releasing it, we are going to stop drawing it. All right. So I'm going to right click, left mouse button, and when it's pressed, I'm going to search for the interface that we did to call the function start selection. And here we have the selection interface, start selection. Then on the release, we're gonna search again for stop selection. And here we have the stop selection interface. After that, what we need to do is we need to get our HUD. So I'm gonna right click, get HUD. So we're getting the HUD and we're gonna start drawing on the HUD and we're gonna stop drawing on the HUD based on the left mouse button. The next thing is on event begin play, we need to show our cursor because we need to draw the marquee. So I'm gonna right click, event begin play, and here I'm gonna right click and search for show mouse cursor. And this is under variables mouse interfaces, and we're gonna set the mouse cursor and we're gonna set it to true. Connect the event begin play, and our game controller is ready. Compile and save. If you enjoy the content and wish to support the channel, or if you're interested in accessing the files for this project and everything that I've created so far, including the landscape auto material, the water shader, the fog material, the blueprint mega kit, the interactive water system, the interactive foliage system, the PCG path, the PCG ditch, the PCG Forest Pro, and every other tool and shader I've developed and will continue to create in the future, visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/cgdealers. By selecting a tier, you can acquire the assets you want while supporting the channel and the ongoing development of new tools and enhancement of the current tools. For those who simply want to support the channel, I've introduced a YouTube membership option. By joining, you will get access to our private Discord lobby where I'm most active, providing priority support. Please note, this membership doesn't include access to download tools, shaders, system, blueprints, or any other content like in Patreon. Enroll in this membership if you don't want to pay for Patreon but want to donate a Coca-Cola or a coffee. This support helps me stay fueled and continue creating videos for free for you guys. Thank you so much. Now let's deep dive into the video. Now let's start creating the logic behind the draw to select and the marquee. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna create a blueprint class, and in the search I'm gonna search for blueprint class of type HUD. So I'm gonna select this HUD, select it and create it. Alright, I'm gonna name it draw to select UI. I'm gonna drag and drop this draw to select UI to the HUD class over here. Okay, and now I'm gonna double click and let's go to our event graph, and here we need to start creating some logic. So the first thing is for the start selection event. We will get it from the interface, but we need to add the interface to this class. So I'm gonna select class settings, then here in the implemented interfaces, I'm gonna search for select, and I'm gonna choose the selection interface. So right now we've added the interface stop selection and start selection. Now we are able to access those functions. And right now we're gonna right click and search for event start selection event. Then we're gonna choose this start selection because we are referencing the interface. As you can see here in the pop-up, it says target is selection interface. So I'm gonna select this one and I'm gonna search for the other one, the stop selection event. This one, stop selection. So under stop selection, I'm gonna say we stop the drawing. And for this, I need to create a variable, which will be is drawing. And this will be a boolean. I'm gonna place it over here. I'm gonna set the drawing and connect it over here. So when we stop selecting, we're gonna set the drawing not to true. So we are stop drawing. All right. From the start selection, first thing that we need to do is get mouse position on the viewport. So we need to know where the mouse is. So get mouse position on the viewport, connect it over here. Then the second thing is we need to know the resolution that we're working on. So we're gonna get the viewport scale. So we're getting the scale of the resolution. It depends on the PC, on the mobile, on the PlayStation, etc. Then what we need to do is we need to multiply. So I'm multiplying the return value of the position of the mouse to the return value of the scale of our viewport. Then we need to create 2 points, point A and point B. Point A is where we start drawing and point B is where the end of our drawing is. I'm going to add 2 more variables, point A. This one will be vector 2, this type vector 2, and I'm going to duplicate this one, and this will be point B. So first, when we start drawing, when we start the selection, we need to know where the point A is. So I'm gonna set it over here. Then I'm gonna right click on this and I'm gonna split the structure, and I'm gonna split here the structure, connect it over here. And by start drawing, we need to know the X and the Y of our first point where we start to draw. Okay. Then we need to set up the drawing, and we say, now we start to draw. All right. Now we need to create a new event, which will be event receive draw HUD. And this is custom event provided by Unreal. So let's search for it. Event received. So we're searching for this one, event received draw HUD. Okay. And the first step is to see if we are drawing or not. So I'm going to create a branch and we're going to connect. Are we drawing? We need to get the feedback from this boolean based on the two selection, start and end selection. Start and stop selection. What we are doing here, if we are drawing, we're gonna move forward. If we're not drawing, nothing will happen. Now when we start drawing, we need to get the same thing, get mouse position viewport, get the viewport scale, multiply it. I'm gonna copy and paste this. I'm gonna connect it over here and I'm gonna queue. But this time, because we start drawing, we need to set the point B. So I'm gonna drag and drop point B here, click on set, right click, split the pin, connect X and Y, and now we are drawing the point B. After that, we're gonna branch one more time. I'm gonna connect it, and here I'm gonna create a new variable which will be draw only outline. We're gonna have 2 options. The first option will be we are going to draw only an outline, and the second option will be we're gonna draw outline with a filler. It depends on what you need, but I'm gonna provide the 2 options. So I'm gonna duplicate this variable and I'm gonna call it draw only outline question mark, and I'm gonna connect it over here, compile and save. And if you want to draw only an outline, just check this to true. If you don't want to draw only outline, check this to false. We're gonna see this a little bit later, how it works. Now we need to start creating the logic between point A and point B. So I'm gonna drag point A, get point A, and get point B over here. And we're gonna subtract. We're gonna subtract from point A and point B, and we're gonna get the vector length between those two. So I'm gonna drag here, vector length. We're getting the 2D vector length, the length between those two. And then we're gonna add another variable, which will be a float, and I'm gonna name it distance before drawing the marquee. And this one will be a float. So I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna compile and save. And I'm gonna say this will be the distance that my mouse will start dragging, and after 5 pixels it will start drawing the marquee, the outline and the inner section of the marquee. And you can set it up to different values depending on how early you want to start drawing it or how late you want to start drawing it. I'm gonna put 5 over here because I think this is the sweet spot. So if it's greater than 5, it will start drawing. And if it's less than 5, it will not draw. And here I'm gonna create one more branch connected to the condition. Then false will go to my branch, and I'm gonna duplicate this branch and create one more for the true and connect this one to the condition over here. Now, in order for us to start drawing the rectangle, we need a function draw rect. So I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna search for draw rect, and this is a function already provided by Unreal. So if it's true, I'm gonna start drawing. And right now we need to know the position of the screen X and Y and screen width and height. And this will be provided by our points. So I'm gonna drag and get the point A and point B. I'm gonna split the structure. I'm gonna split the structure over here. And right now I'm gonna connect point A over here to my screen X and point AY over here to my screen Y. And the next step is we need the screen width and the screen height, and we're gonna subtract. So I'm gonna subtract. And here in the subtraction, I'm gonna subtract from point B, X, and I'm gonna subtract from point A, X. And this will go to my screen width, and I'm gonna duplicate this one. And this time I'm gonna subtract from point B, Y, and I'm gonna subtract the point AY, and this will go to my screen height. So this is the mathematical formula to get the right screen width and screen height and drag your rectangle perfectly. Now, right now we have a color for our rectangle, and I'm just gonna promote this to a variable so you can set up a desired color for your rectangle. Right click, promote to variable, and I'm just gonna name this a little bit different, rectangle color, okay? And this is linear color, compile, save, and for the color, pick any color that you want. I'm just gonna pick this green over here. Okay, compile and save. So let's test this out and show you how this works so far. I'm gonna play, and here you can see that we're drawing a rectangle, but adding an outline to it, it will look way better. So I'm gonna open it again, I'm gonna stop it, and here from the rectangle color, of course you can set it to blue. Let's test this out. And now you have a blue color. So this is pretty handy if you want to change the color. Now let's focus on the next step, how to draw an outline. For this, we need to create a function. So I'm gonna create a function, and I'm gonna name this function draw rectangle outline. This function will be a little bit complex because we need to draw from point A to point B on horizontal, then we need to draw from point A to point B on the vertical, and we need to draw the opposite because we're gonna have 4 different draw lines for us in order to form a square. The first thing is we need to draw line, and you need to select under hood, draw line under hood. So now we need to feed the start screen X, the start screen Y, and the end screen X and the end screen Y, also the line color. For this line color, I'm gonna create one more color function, which will be my outline color, outline color. And for my outline color, I'm gonna compile and save, and I'm gonna choose a little bit of different green. I'm gonna connect my outline color to the linear color. And the next thing is we need to set up the thickness on the line, how thick we want it to be. So I'm gonna create one more float. I'm just gonna duplicate this one, and I'm gonna name it outline thickness, okay? And I'm gonna connect it to the line thickness. I'm gonna compile, and I'm going to set up the thickness to 2. Because this is the sweet spot, at least for me. The next steps is to get the point A and the point B. I'm getting point A, getting point B. I'm splitting the structure, move this down. And now we need to start creating the connections. So first we need to start drawing from point A X and from point A Y, okay? Then the end screen X, we're gonna need to be point AX. This is the end position because we are drawing first the horizontal line. And the point AX should be end screen X. Then the point BY should be end screen Y. Let me compile this and save it. And let's test first this line. I'm going to my event graph, and in my event graph, I'm gonna drag my draw rectangle outline. I'm gonna connect it to the draw rect, and I'm gonna connect also the branch through here. And the next step is to create one more Boolean variable, which will be is Marquee. I'm gonna put a question mark, and I'm gonna set that this is a Marquee because we are right now creating a Marquee, and I'm gonna select it to be true. I'm gonna compile and save, and let's test out our first outline. So right now, by drawing the first outline, we are drawing the left side of the cube over here. We are drawing on the y-axis, and let's go back again to the formula. So right now what we are doing is we're gonna connect the start screen X and the start screen Y are using our first point, okay? And the end screen X is also our first point. That is why we are drawing only vertically. Okay, and the point BY, we are using the end screen Y. So the point B is the end point where we draw. So let's test this out. This is our point A, and we're going into point B. And by connecting the end screen on the X to be point AX, we are just limiting to draw only on the vertical side. I hope you got the idea behind this. So we're gonna create 3 more draw lines. So for the next line, I'm gonna copy and paste this one. I'm gonna disconnect everything, and I'm gonna start from scratch. Again, we need to draw another line, and we're gonna draw X and Y from the starting point. But this time we're gonna use the point B as a Y. This is my end screen Y, and we're gonna use the point BX as my end screen X. I'm gonna compile and save and show you what this will do. Now we are drawing on the horizontal line. Okay, we have 2 outlines ready. Let me just open it again. So what we are doing is we have point AX as start screen, point AY as start screen. Okay, now the end screen is our point Y. So the end point is on the horizontal axis, and point BX is our end screen on the X because we are drawing on the X, the point B. Okay, so this is our second line. I'm gonna copy and paste this one. I'm gonna move it, I'm gonna connect it. This is a little bit complicated, but if you draw it on a piece of paper, you're gonna know how it will look. Now I'm gonna disconnect again everything. And in this case, I'm gonna switch the positions. So this third line, we're gonna connect the point BX to my start screen X. We're gonna connect the point BY to my end screen Y. We're gonna connect also the point BX to my end screen X. And we're gonna connect the point AY to my start screen Y. I'm gonna compile and save and show you the final result. Right now we have the right line, okay? And what we left is the bottom one. So let's create one more, copy and paste this one, and let's close the loop. I'm gonna connect it over here, and let's connect the final one. The B will go to the start screen X, then the point AY will go to the start screen Y. Then again, the point AY will go to my end screen Y. And finally, my point AX will go to my end screen X. And let's test this out. And right now we are drawing everything, but we have a mistake somewhere. And we are having point B, point B. Okay, here I just substitute them. So let me just disconnect them. And on the second one, I have this mistake. To draw the bottom line, we need to connect the BX and the BY over here, because this is our second line. And we need to connect the BY to our end screen Y, and we need to connect the point AX to my end screen X. Now it should work. Let me just try it out if we're gonna draw it. Yeah. So now everything works perfectly. It's a little bit confusing, but like I said, if you draw them on a piece of paper and just name them point A, point B, and just log them on horizontal X and on Y, you're gonna figure out and end up with this kind of result. It takes me some time to figure it out, but this is the right setup. So this is pretty much how it works. And let me test up the draw only outline. So if I turn it on, let me just hit play, and now we're just drawing an outline without anything inside of it. So if you want to have only outline, just draw outline and use this boolean. If you want some opaque thing inside, you can draw it like that. And of course you can tweak up the colors over here, double click on them. You can tweak up the outline color, or here you can tweak up also the alpha of the filler. So if I hit play, you can see that it is way more transparent. So this is up to you to tweak everything, but this is pretty much how you can create a marquee selection. It is not so complicated if you get the math right, and this is how you can use interfaces to call the events from everywhere. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to support my work, go check out my Patreon and YouTube membership. Thank you for watching this video. See ya in the next one. And before I end up this video, I want to let you know that I've created a Blueprints Masterclass for Unreal Engine 5. It is available right now on Udemy. So if you want to expand your knowledge and not just only create art pieces in Unreal Engine 5, but create some characters, create some game logic, my course is the perfect solution from beginners to intermediate Unreal Engine 5 users. The course itself is 15 hours long, and it has all the foundation that you need to kickstart your blueprint knowledge in Unreal Engine 5. So if you want to keep evolving yourself beyond just creating art in Unreal Engine 5, enroll now.